Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and it's mailbag time. Friendly reminder, use hashtag Raiders, or you can super chat if you're watching this on a later date. You can also send in a super thanks, and then I'll feature you on a future show. Remember, it is the offseason, and this is the time of the year to turn on those notifications. You find that bell, you click all. We're also doing a competition here at Chat Sports to see who can get the most people to get their channel to have the notifications turned on. So I'm going to be giving special shout-outs all month to the people who are a part of the Noti gang. So that way you're not missing news, rumors, and you're also getting a little bit of love. So shout out to Raiders for Life, Matthew Sanchez, Jaime, Fabian, and Jake Peters. I put out a video on July 3rd like I do every single day, and these are the first 5 people to comment. So subscribe, turn on those notifications. All right, let's go to the first super chat coming in here from Daniel Guerrero. Do you think the Broncos are a Super Bowl win team or decent? I mean, I could see the Broncos winning the Super Bowl, and hopefully that doesn't upset y'all. I think it really comes down to they have a good defense, they have good skill position players, and now they have a legit quarterback in, Russell Wilson. I will be curious to see how the chemistry ends up working out, though. To me, Russ is just one of those guys. He's going to come in there. He's going to do his work. If Denver has a few injuries, I actually don't think they're as deep at certain skill positions that they are at other spots. Their offensive line is a little bit shaky to me. They're weak at right tackle, but yeah, they're a Super Bowl caliber team. So are the Raiders, so are the Chiefs, so are the Chargers. That's the AFC West. That's the world we live in right now. Clash with Zeus. You think Rodney Hudson regrets going to Arizona? Maybe a little bit. I'm not in Rodney Hudson's mind. I don't know 100%. I know Hudson wanted to get paid. I know the Cardinals wanted to pay him, and the Raiders weren't willing to offer that money. I think from does he want to retire a Raiders standpoint, Rodney Hudson would definitely be one of those guys where I could see him retiring from the NFL, signing that one-day contract, and then retiring with us. But I also think the Raiders made the right decision of moving on from Hudson when they did, because he did really get bad pretty quickly once he left Las Vegas. What up, Cameron Sproul? Who are the sleeper teams in both AFC and NFC that could end up in the Super Bowl? Oh, boy. I mean, sleeper teams out of the AFC, I'll say one team that does make me nervous is Indianapolis. They didn't make the playoffs last year, but with that running game with Jonathan Taylor and Matt Ryan back there at quarterback, plus Gus Bradley, good defensive coordinator, he goes over to Indy. That team does scare me quite a bit. In the NFC, Philadelphia, if Jalen Hurts can take that next step, Philly's going to be a sneaky team to me. They are locked and loaded. And another team that didn't make the playoffs, the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens were the number 1 seed before Lamar Jackson went down. Jackson gets banged up, and then that team falls apart a little bit. There's a lot of really, really good teams out there. I'll also say, based on odds, the Raiders could absolutely be a sleeper team to make the Super Bowl. What up, Grandpa Dietz? Should the Raiders sign another tight end? What about Jared Cook? It's funny. I actually saw an article that came out today about signing another tight end, and Jared Cook has been a name that gets brought up because he's probably the top tight end out there on the free agent market since, Rob Gronkowski decided to retire. But if you were telling me right now that you move on from Hollister, you move on from somebody else, and you needed another tight end, Jared Cook would be an interesting option. Here's my question to all of you, so shout out to Sam. Who do you think's the better player right now? Okay, be honest with me. Better player right now, is it Jared Cook or is it Foster Moreau? Because if you were to ask me who do I think is the better overall tight end right now, I actually might say Jared Cook. The issue is I would rather invest my time, my money in Foster Moreau because he's a younger player, he's talented, he's a big body, but in better player overall right now, I actually think it might be Jared Cook. And that's not a rip on Foster Moreau. It's just Foster needs to grow a little bit more, and that'll come, though. That'll come. What up, Javier? How are our rookies and UDFAs looking? Any sleepers? Again, since the last time OTAs and minicamp happened, we're going back to June 13th and 14th. Besides those dates, the guys haven't been practicing. Nothing's really been going on. So I would say the UDFAs that people are still talking about is the safety from USC, but that's because he's got family ties with Kennedy Polamalu, the Raiders running back coach. He also has ties with Troy Polamalu. He's working out with him. Sam Webb, I've heard some good things about. It's just, in years past, UDFAs have made the roster because the Raiders roster hasn't been as good. Now with a better roster, the UDFAs don't make it as often. Another super chat. Chances on Suh at this point or any other free agents. To me, the Raiders have too much money to not spend. I mean, you're looking at $20.2 million in salary cap space. It's just right now is this dead time in the NFL where players go on vacation, they enjoy their family time, and they're going to figure it out when they figure it out. I believe the Raiders are concentrating on Waller, Denzel Perriman, and then they're going to shift to free agency. Suh, though, I would probably put it at 25% that he ends up with the Raiders. He's going to end up somewhere. I think it's either the Vikings, the Browns, and then the Raiders. Those are probably the top three teams right now out for Ndamukong Suh. Sorry, man. Had to wet that whistle. Had to wet the whistle. And if you guys want even more Raiders content, I make a lot of content, y'all. Not only here on YouTube, not only on Rumble, but I also make content over on Locals. And if you're wondering some of the past videos I made, this is actually probably one of my favorite ones I've done. History suggests that Josh Jacobs won't lead the Raiders in rushing in 2022. I provided a lot of stats, a lot of factual stuff in that. If you want to check it out, please, please, please do. ESPN thinks that the Raiders are one move away. What should the Raiders do? Check that video out. I provide 2 exclusive videos over on Locals. I also go live, and I went live this past weekend with Chuck at my house, and we had a good time. It's an easier place for me to be able to connect with y'all. It's an easier way for me to answer all y'all's questions because there's a lot less people that join me on Locals. It's just the monster that it is. But if you want to join, please do. Scan that QR code, or you can go to the link that you see below, raidersreport.locals.com. What up, rdog_76? What up, what up? With the addition of Adams, it will free up Waller and Renfro. Overall, a far superior team over previous years. It's not a question, it's a statement, and I 100% agree. LI Raider 312, what up? Raiders top 3 offense and top 10 defense. No, I won't go that far. I mean, I think they have a top 5-ish offense. The defense, though, if I'm being real with y'all, their secondary is probably bottom 10, maybe near bottom 5. Still a lot of unproven players. Their defensive tackle room is weak. I would say the Raiders are probably around like the 25th range for overall defense. That offense, though, is around top 5. It really comes down to the offensive line. If the offensive line could be an average unit, then this is a top 5 offense. Arthur Kirkland, new to the show. Do you still think Dylan Parham will start this season? Yes. I originally said that he's probably going to start at center. However, Andre James, from what I've heard, is just getting better and better, and he played a lot better at the end of last season. It sounds like he's going to have that start at center. Like, he's going to get the initial go at it. Now, doesn't mean he's going to be the starter the entire season. No, that's not what it means. I just see right now Dylan Parham most likely playing right guard. And they drafted him for a reason. They're very high on Dylan Parham for obvious reasons. He's a really good player. But if the plan is to have Alex Leatherwood at right tackle, I would say Parham at right guard, Andre James at center, Denzel Good at left guard, Colton Miller at left tackle. That would be my guess right now. But what do y'all think? Y for yes, N for no. Is Parham going to start this upcoming season? I get it. He's a rookie. Some people might be afraid. Well, what about Jermaine Illuminor? Well, what about John Simpson? He was getting first-team reps. Y for yes, N for no. Will Parham start this upcoming season? Cameron Sproul, what up, my dog? Weird thought. Could Gronk end up a Raider before it's all said and done? No. Gronk retired. The only way Gronk comes out of retirement, and his agent literally said this, is if the Buccaneers make a run at the end of the season, they think that they could use Gronk in the playoffs, and then he would do it. I believe it is retirement or Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady or bust. Nothing in between, so no to Gronk to the Raiders. Can you rate our offensive line and defensive line? I would say our offensive line, if I were to rate it from a scale from 1 to 100, I would say right now it's probably at like a 60, and it scares me. I know Colt Miller's solid, but besides that, there's a lot of unknowns. I believe we have the upside to get into that 80 range, if I'm being real with y'all. We also can get a little bit lower than 60. Our defensive line, if you're talking about just edge rushers, it's a 95, 96, 97 because of Chandler Jones, Max Crosby. But then you add the defensive tackles into that group, I'd probably put us at an 80 right now. Our DTs, from a depth standpoint alone, our DTs are arguably the worst defensive tackle room in all of football. I'd probably put the Cleveland Browns, maybe Minnesota would be up there as well for some of the worst DTs in all of football. Madman Raider, do we sign any free agents before training camp? I don't know, dude. It's honestly, like, I don't know. The Raiders have been quiet. The Raiders have been silent. You haven't really seen too many new reports out there, but it's because this is the time of the year that players aren't really connected to football. It's the time of the year where they're with their families. They're, visiting places. They're on their vacation. So I would say for right now, not going to happen, but training camp for the Raiders technically starts July 18th. For UDFAs, rookies, and quarterbacks, and then veterans report on the 20th. I do still say, though, the Raiders sign another 2 to 3 free agents before the season actually kicks off. All right, y'all, I know a lot of Raiders greats out there. Lots and lots of Raiders greats, but who's your favorite Raider of all time? Is it Ken Stabler? Maybe it's Howie Long, Jim Otto, Rich Gannon. Maybe it's Derek Carr. I don't know. Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, tons. Casper. I mean, we got so many greats out there. Dr. Death. I mean, who is your favorite Raider of all time? Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments. Next question coming in here from Robert Jansen. We are still Darrell Williams or a DT or true wide receiver 2 and DB away from the Super Bowl. Darrell Williams would help. Yes, the Raiders need a defensive tackle. When you say a true wide receiver 2, see, I look at... I'm going to disagree with that one a little bit, and I do think the Raiders need an extra defensive back. That I agree with. The wide receiver spot, though, is this. Like, you have Hunter Renfrow, you have Devontae Adams, you have Darren Waller. It's really hard to find a fourth better option or have 3 options that are that good. So I hear you, but the Raiders can still get better, and yes, you are still trying to improve because right now I think they're a playoff caliber team, but there is still a distinct difference between playoff and then Super Bowl caliber team. They can get there. They just got to stay healthy. Need a few right bounces as well, but I agree. They can get better. All right, y'all, we got a lot of questions that always come on the show. Please hit me up, IG, Twitter, at MitchellRens365. I always try to keep you guys up to date, and I check my DMs. It's a lot easier for me to check my DMs this time of the year because, let's face it, I don't get as many DMs as I do the regular season. Regular season time, I'm not shitting you. I get like 200 DMs, especially after a game. I'll get 300, 400 DMs a game, but a lot of it's just people going crazy after a Raiders win or loss. It's all good. This right now is the easiest time of the year for me to actually talk to y'all. It's facts. Ori Williamson, Mack Hollins think he could get cut. I don't think he's going to get cut, but I also don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities because Mack Hollins to me is an athletic receiver, but he's not a good route runner. And if the Raiders, let's say, go out and they add an extra receiver or whatever, to me, Mack Hollins is the 5th best guy on this team. I believe Keelan Cole's better than him. Demarcus Robinson's better than him. And if the Raiders aren't 100% sold on Mack Hollins' athletic ability or his receiving ability, you could see them potentially keep somebody like Tyron Johnson who gives you special teams value, where Mack Hollins doesn't really give you any special teams value. Raiderman01, Mitch, why don't we ever talk about speed? Will Fuller, just win, baby. I don't talk about Will Fuller a lot because I believe availability is important. And Will Fuller, his entire career, has always been injured. And even last season, the dude had 4 catches for 26 yards. 3 of those catches came in week 1 against the Raiders. I get it. Will Fuller is a phenomenal athlete. When he's healthy, he's a great player. But at wide receiver isn't a major, major need. If Fuller wanted to come in on a 1-year vet minimum deal with a lot of incentives, yes, that I'd be interested in. But he signed a $10 million contract last season. I don't think a 1-year prove-it deal is going to happen for Fuller.